Across the nation, people are protesting and calling for an end to systemic racism. But how do we teach the next generation to become more tolerant of others and also stand up against racism? KIMT News 3's Isabella Basco went looking for answers, and as usual, she got some. She joins us live. Isabella?
Mother Teresa once said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. But how do you teach your kids to love others? One pediatrician here at Mayo Clinic says you have to start early. It's been said children are sponges, soaking up every verbal and nonverbal interaction. Dr. Sarah Atuna-Jay, a pediatrician at Mayo Clinic, says children see racial differences as early as 6 months and can internalize racial bias at the age of 2.
This really is why it's so important for families to think about, how to raise children in an anti-racist way.
Quadra Mahmoud is raising 7 Somali American kids. She wants a world where she and her family are respected.
They watch us when we have a hijab or like covers. They watching us like a different people. We are human. We are same human.
Atuna-Jay suggests one way to raise respectful children is to be intentional about the books, television programs, and movies they consume.
Picking out characters that have racial diversity, but not only that have racial diversity, but in particular that center characters who are people from historically discriminated against groups.
Another way is to place our children in diverse settings.
Kids who are in diverse settings are more empathetic and do well academically. So that's one reason I would say people should care, because it's actually good for their own kids.
Changing the world requires work at home. Work that's difficult.
A lot of white folks really haven't had these conversations before, and so it might, you might actually be uncomfortable when you're initially having these conversations.
But it's work that's needed.
Raising my children, I always tell them to the color doesn't matter.
Dr. Atuna-Jay also recommends that families attend workshops or take classes that point out racial biases. Live in Rochester, Isabella Basco, KIMT News 3.
Thank you, Isabella. Dr. Atuna-Jay gave some book recommendations as well, and you can find those posted at KIMT.com along with this story under the local news tab.